Trevor has some cool things to update. We're having a presentation with RCC on the SBDC. And always we have Biz Oregon here. If you have any questions for Biz Oregon, they're the most amazing team, loans and just what they do. So 2 incredible folks here. Please look around the room. Lots of, hi, Rich. Oh, thank you. By the way, Rich is joining us as a 1MC organizer, yay. And LJ, yay. Yay. So we need to increase the team. If you have an interest, we welcome you. But we're going to have some really cool 1MCs. They're always cool. And then we have some entrepreneurs that had huge, huge changes in their business, like beyond what you could ever imagine possible from presenting. And they're going to come back and share it with you. I want to tell you, but I'm not going to. So anyway, that's happening. And then I wanted to make sure you, click on the QR code. We're getting attention of the 1MC Kaufman Foundation. We're moving up in the rankings. They sent us an email to have everybody use the QR code so that they know you're here. So if you can do that, and if you're having issues with it, let me know. They're kind of exploring that. Some of you have had issues, but just please register on the QR code. We're moving up in the rankings across the United States. It's pretty exciting. So they're reaching out to us more for stories about what's happening. And then the Kaufman Foundation is a large philanthropy, super supportive of y'all. So once you're in there, if you can please, and if you have any issues, let myself or Trev know. But that gets our numbers up there. And then we have our organizers. And then we have the most amazing hosts. I'm going to say it first, but where's Becky, Yvette, and Annie? Phenomenal, by the way. If you haven't talked to her, please talk to her. Her business is like no other. She's here to support us and offers her services for the moms with kiddos so they can be here, which is really cool. Oh, geez. Okay, and dads. All right. Right. And then Lonely Pine, they're amazing downstairs. The kids are actually really growing. They provide the coffee. And as always, Trev provides the space for us. And we're building out some new things and cool things, so the Hivve will really be that hub of activities. So look for some exciting stuff. So I talked enough. Without further ado, Alena with Southern Oregon Empower ED. Come on. Thank you. It's on. You're live. Okay. You're going to do so great.
Hello. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This means so much to be able to speak to all of you. A few months ago was my first time at 1MC, and it actually happened just like kind of out of the blue. I saw something on Facebook that the Weekend Brewing Company was needing some support. They were pivoting in their business, and they were looking for ideas. And I went and attended and came into this room full of like 100 people. And I was like, where am I? What am I doing? Like, is this just for the weekend or is this something completely different? I have no idea. And then Kim gets up on the stage and says, are you ready to bring it? And I was like, okay, like, I got to figure this out. Like, this is something else. I see like 1 million cups everywhere. I had no idea where I was. And turns out I am an entrepreneur, and I was in an entrepreneurial space. And so anyway, that was my first bit of attendance, and I'm just so happy to be here to be able to present to all of you. So I am an educational therapist, I'm an educational consultant, I am a special education advocate, and I'll get into all of those in just a few minutes here. But mainly what I do is I serve struggling learners and their families. From elementary school all the way up through high school, and I've also started working with adults too. And so here is the outline of my story. So in 2012, I graduated from Skidmore College in upstate New York. I got my BA in geosciences. I was ready to be an oceanographer. I was mapping oceans. I was mapping coastlines, very into research at the time. And I moved to Oregon after college, not really knowing where I was going in life, was trying to get some research opportunities, and then I was hired as an outreach educator for ScienceWorks in 2013, where I fell in love with working with children. I got my MAT in science education, went back to school. I met my husband working at an elementary school in Grants Pass, and we were married in 2016. He's here today supporting me, so thank you, Eric. And I worked for Three Rivers as a science teacher after that. And then came a very pivotal moment where I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And that completely changed the trajectory of where I was heading. And I found that my true passion within education was not so much within science specifically anymore, although I love science. It was more so helping learners who are struggling and have no idea how to get from point A to point B. And so I went back to school, got my K-12 endorsement in special education, and then worked as a special education teacher through Three Rivers, and have my son Walden, and then founded Southern Oregon Empowered in 2022. So I will be entering my 5th year of business in the fall. And highlighted in yellow are just the very pivotal moments. And my son, and having my son Walden was actually a very big catalyst in me starting this business as well.
Alena, real quick, I just
Yes.
want to interrupt real quick. I just want to make everybody aware, there is a pigeon in the room, right up there. And so don't be startled. It's harmless, but it is joining us for 1MC. It's the first time. You have a major draw.
Yeah, I guess so, you know.
So anyways, yeah, there is that. And it is dusting the rafters for us, so.
How fascinating.
An entrepreneur, that's right. Okay, well, continue on. Sorry for the interruption.
Thank you. No,
I didn't want anybody to be too startled.
And so this is my office. So I work out in my backyard. I have a little shed back there, and it's wonderful. I see virtual clients and in-person clients there, and I feel very special to have that. So I mentioned that I was an educational therapist. So what is educational therapy? Many of you might be thinking, maybe there's 1 or 2 people in the world in the room who know what educational therapy is. So I work one-on-one, individualized in-person and virtual remediation interventions. So I work one-on-one with kids who are struggling in the areas of reading, writing, math, and executive functioning skills. And so you might be thinking, oh, that sounds like really familiar or similar to tutoring. And it is similar. Educational therapy takes a more kind of holistic approach. So I really consider like where the learner is coming from socially, emotionally, in school, at home, like all the different pieces that make them their own person. And so we really, as educational therapists, we work on kind of all those pieces and bring them together to understand where that struggle is actually rooted from, instead of just providing, reteaching material and just being very content specific. It's more holistic than that. And this is kind of the breakdown of the framework there, so working towards empowerment. And I work with kids who are dyslexic, who have a math disability, a writing disability, processing disorders, ADHD, all sorts of struggles. And I also mentioned I'm an educational consultant, and so I provide guidance on curriculum selection, recommendations for intervention, and helpful instructional strategies and supports. I work with parents in this, homeschool parents. A lot of parents are deciding to go the homeschool route these days. They're deciding that, public school is really not serving my child, which is a completely valid concern and a valid choice. But a lot of them don't really know that there is support out there for those parents who are choosing that option. And they feel like they have to just do it themselves. So they feel like, okay, either I'm in this public school realm or I'm at homeschool. And if I'm a homeschool mom or father, then I need to figure out, everything on my own. And that's just not the case. So I provide a skills assessment, a learning profile assessment, and then create and implement an individualized plan. Special education advocacy that I also do is very similar to consulting, but it's just it's special education specific. So a child is in the special education system in a public school, not maybe getting the kinds of accommodations that they're needing at the time. Their plan is not suiting their child, the parents are realizing, and so they're needing some additional support and guidance on kind of where to go. Also, I work with families who are like very new to the process, don't have their kid enrolled in special education and are wondering what that's all about and how they go about and do that. And there's a very specific way that you have to go about it, and parents are not informed of that by school districts most of the time. So I've had a lot of success within my business. As I mentioned, I'm entering my 5th year. And with me personally, I feel like it really suits me very well. I'm able to do what I absolutely love, which is working one-on-one with kids, and hopefully adults soon as well, while keeping myself sane. The flexibility of this work as an entrepreneur is very conducive to how I personally think and how my brain operates. Which is what drove me into this. I'm able to support myself and my family. I'm connected with many allied professionals in the Rogue Valley that refer their clients to me for my services, and also being a member of 1MC and being with all of you has really been amazing for my growth as well. And I know that I'm making a profound impact. I've been told many times by families that what I'm doing is kind of unlike anything that they've experienced, that the support in the school, it can only go so far, and that it's really making a difference. So I'm very thankful for that. There have been hardships, liability, of course. I have been pulled into court cases that I didn't really want to be pulled into. Financial stability is a tough one. You know, I went through a month where I just lost 4 clients like in 1 month and was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And having to get those clients quickly and get my feet back under me. But it does come around, I have found. And so that is a hardship, but it also has not been something that's kind of stopped me in my tracks. And I currently accept just private pay. That's tough for a lot of families. I do not accept insurance, but there may be a plan in the works that I'll get to in a little bit where that might be a possibility. I also, as many entrepreneurs do, wear many hats. You put on the mom hat, put on the professional hat, put on the marketer hat, put on the networker hat. You know, we do it all, and that's exhausting for me. Thank you. But it's also what I love about it too. So it's a hardship, but it's also what I love about the gig. So where to from here? Would love to have a centralized location, kind of more in the heart of Grants Pass, where people are seeing the logo, seeing what I do, you know, making it more known to families out there. Right now, for what I am and my size, I'm a one-person business. I'm happy with what I have right now. I'm kind of happy that not a lot of people know about it, because if they did, I would have to turn people away quite a bit. And I haven't really had, I've had a wait list, but not incredibly long. So it's working for now, but I do want to eventually become more well-known and expand. The expansion, I would love to be able to partner with speech-language pathologists, occupational therapists, mental health therapists, have like an actual hub, a wellness kind of hub in Grants Pass, catering towards kids that are not being served, or, you know, wouldn't want to create any sort of friction with the school districts, but just have a space for parents to be able to you know, have access to these services if they feel like they need those services and they're not being provided them within the school district. Serving more and more families and affordability. And so with partnering with all of those other kinds of individuals in a more group practice type setting, that may be a way for me to be able to accept insurance at some point. So what can you do? Would love for you to get curious about how you learn and how you think. I think the more transparent, authentic, and real that you are with your kids and with other, just we're all learners, right? We never stop learning. Just to be more transparent about your own struggles and your own ways in which you think and what's hard for you. The more that we keep it real, the more it doesn't become this kind of obscurity of why others are struggling. We all struggle in some way with our learning and our thinking. Encourage loved ones to seek professional help if they're struggling, and obviously spread the word, but not too much. Oh, sorry. I had my QR code up there, but I closed my. Anyway, open it back up.
Alrighty, guys, who's got some questions for us this morning?
Thanks.
How much is physical-based birth, the IQ, all that sort of stuff, and how much is mental barriers that they need help strategically overcoming? I guess, there are children born that do have learning disabilities and social disabilities and such. So how much of it is physical? How much is it they just need to be showed a better path, or both?
I think it just really depends on the child. With it's all my work is always is more so effective if the child has received some sort of evaluation from their primary care, from outside outside providers, that then I can take that data and provide service. If a kid comes to me and they've had no evaluation done prior, it's really hard for me to navigate and see what's what. So I don't know if that answers your question.
What do you want parents to know about you? What's like the two things that if they knew, they go, oh, I kind of get what she does?
I work with all kids who are struggling within the system of how public education is being taught these days. It's not a one size fits all. So I work with kids and find out different methods of how to teach and how to work with their particular brain and their learning profile.
What's the tipping point to get you to the physical location? Because you said, I want more business, but not too much. So, what kind of physical location, and what's the next that gets you there?
Yeah. So I think, I'd love to just get my feet under me just a little bit more in terms of streamlining my systems so that I can convey those to other people that would be joining me. The first step would be to have a few kind of like consultant type, or not consultant, contracted individuals that would help me with the type of work that I do, and grow a little bit that way. And then later would come like bringing on other allied professionals. But yeah, I think streamlining my systems, really getting confident in what I'm doing so that I can convey that to others, and that I can first see happening within the next couple years. That's a good question. I think it's just more experience. Yeah, to keep continuing to do what I do and reaching out to professionals in my own my educational therapy association and feeling confident about exactly what I'm doing. Thank you. Yes.
Thanks for sharing your story. As you're going through your timeline, it was just really clear you have some dogged persistence, which is, what it takes to be an entrepreneur. So just, thanks for sharing that. Would you mind touching on a little bit more just you personally becoming aware of this role and then your choice to say, all right, this is what I'm doing? I feel like that's the essence of what a lot of us struggle with. So maybe you could, just riff on that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So when I was a special education teacher out at Three Rivers, I worked out in Cave Junction. I was getting up at 5 in the morning to go drive out there and work with some really, really challenging kids, and it was so unbelievably fulfilling. But when I got pregnant, I just didn't feel like I could keep up with that kind of schedule. And having been diagnosed bipolar and also having to leave my job during my 3rd trimester because things weren't going well for me, I learned that I couldn't operate in that kind of a schedule. And so I needed something to allow myself to do that kind of work, but where I could have flexibility. And it would also allow me the flexibility to be able to spend so much time with my son that I've been able to cherish over these last 5 years. And so that was really the catalyst there. Yeah.
Hi. So you said your business has been you've been in business for 5 years. I'm right here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. So your business started up right out of around COVID. Then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and COVID created like a lapse in education for especially K-12
Yes.
kids. So, do you think you saw like more opportunities coming out of that due to that, and do you find yourself still kind of addressing that issue? I assume it would be a long running thing, but like
Yeah, that's a great question. Absolutely, yes. I've gotten a lot of calls, and they always start out with, well, my kid was this age when COVID happened. So they are always wanting me to know, be informed about, my kid was was experiencing COVID during this time of their life, which was a very pivotal, moment to be absorbing that kind of material. Like if they had trouble learning how to read and missed kindergarten or missed 1st grade. So yes, absolutely. I wouldn't say that that interest is like now that we are 6 years out of COVID, I wouldn't say that its interest is dwindling because we've had a lot of space between COVID and now, but because kids are, we're all just gonna have to figure out our own way, and we're all gonna struggle at some point. And so, I haven't seen any interest dwindling, but yes, during that like surge of COVID, that was a big topic of conversation.
Hey. Oh, thank you so much for what you do, retired teacher here. So I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I would love to set up a one-to-one so I can help you get further.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, over there.
Yeah. Over here. Great job. Wonderful what you're doing. Kind of 2 questions. So first, what does success look like for you in 5 years?
Oh boy. I just really want to serve this community in a bigger way. I do, and I see that for myself. I just don't want to jump into it too soon. I want to be very strategic about it. I'm a planner, and I want to do it right. And there are obviously going to be hiccups along the way doing it right. But still, I just know that I need a little bit more time with that. So definitely just anybody who feels like they need that service here, I want to be able to provide it.
Cool. And so then what does your current system stack look like? Like what tech are you using? How techy are you being, or is it all like, just emails and handwritten notes? Like, where are you at on that scale?
I use a combination. I mean, I think for like vision planning, I like to handwrite. For kind of just like daily to-do things, I use Trello, which is fantastic. I would be under the water without that. And other than that, it's just like curriculum materials. I have a lot of like manuals, but I also have online resources too. And for my virtual sessions, I use the Zoom whiteboard a lot, and document camera. Yeah, and then another piece of my in-person session is I have a nice big desk where my client sits right next to me, and it's a big huge whiteboard. So that's really helpful for like problem solving and working out different things.
Hello there.
Hi.
I have a couple questions. How often, or is it different for each student that you see? How often you have sessions with them based on their needs? And kind of walk me through, especially like the early stages of when you're dealing with a new student and you're formulating the plan. Is it always individualized? Is it kind of generalized for whatever they're dealing with? Walk me through like the first month of dealing with and how that would work.
Okay, I'll try to be brief on that too. So that's a great question in terms of like how often. So typically once a week or twice a week is what I do. Older kids, like middle, high school, that need more executive functioning help, so like organization, planning, prioritization, actually writing down what they have to do each day, that sort of thing can be a once a week. And we're just doing a once a week check-in, and then like working on through their assignments if they're needing help starting an assignment. Task initiation is one of the big struggles for my kids that are in middle school, high school. And for younger kids, if they are if they have dyslexia or they're really having a difficult time learning how to read, that's more of a twice a week at least kind of intervention, just like practice, getting those grooves built in the brain. And in terms of like working with a client for the first month, it is incredibly individualized, but the two most common cases that I work with are kids who have dyslexia and who have ADHD. So both are very different. For dyslexia, I use a specific curriculum, which is the Barton Reading and Spelling Method. It's direct instruction, very explicit. We're teaching very explicitly the entire time of why words are built this way and why there are certain spelling rules for different endings and beginnings. So my mind's just kind of like going all over the places I'm thinking. For ADHD, it really depends on what exactly they're struggling with. There's so many different types of executive functions out there. So it could be impulse control, could be planning, could be organization, could be emotional control. So it really does look different for everyone. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is that it is very individualized.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a testimonial to Empower Ed and Alena. My kiddo was one of those special cases, was not diagnosed with anything, but struggling with executive functioning, peer interactions, and Alena took him under her wing and worked with him for about a year. He was about 5 and 6, And today, I just want to say he's 10 and he's thriving. His emotional intelligence is just through the roof. Academically, he's top in his class. Not that that matters to me academically, but she just really worked one-on-one with him and just, I honestly believe, turned his life around. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions. I'll go here and then over there.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm a marketer, but I also work with special ed kids, and I do have a couple questions. I heard you say that we should spread the word, but not as much. Is that because you feel that there would be like some friction with regular schools? I'm not from here, so I'm just really trying to understand, because maybe it's more of a positioning problem. Maybe you can position yourself as more of an aid rather than a competition for them. What is exactly what you're feeling in that sense?
Yeah, it doesn't really have to do with the competition. It more so has to do with I hate having to turn people away.
Okay.
And so, but there's a friction within myself about that, because I do want people to know, but I don't want to have to turn them away. So it's
like
that kind of a combination.
It's like a staff problem.
Yeah, because it's just me right now.
Okay, perfect. And when it comes, maybe I missed this part, when it comes to your branding, I do see that you use the ocean and the sea a lot. Is there an element that you use in your system, like in your curriculum, that has to do with that, or do you just use it in your branding because you kind of like it?
That is just more of like a personal connection. I just love the ocean, and that crest of that wave just reminds me of reaching empowerment.
Okay, yeah, that was my only maybe suggestion. When I see the logo, I thought it was, I don't know, like some surfing company.
Yeah.
So maybe with a little bit more of, I don't know, design, we can kind of get the message that it's for kids. And it's such an important mission what you're doing. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
It
thank you.
really touches my heart. So just having the messaging a little bit more clear for people so they know what you do.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm back here. I have a question and then a final question. I'm hobbling over to get your cup. Trevor's on bird duty chasing the birds. So anyway, very important. We don't want to interrupt that. I wanted to share just really briefly a personal story to really emphasize how important it is what you do. We lived off grid, no TV, so I learned to read at a very young age, 5, 6. Went to school, 2nd grade. They put me in the special ed bus because I was so shy. I know it's hard to believe, but I was shy at one point. And so they just thought that I had learning issues. And so it was not that I didn't love it. I learned a lot about that, but it was very humiliating. And that's where they stuck me. And I couldn't figure out why. So anyway, someone much like yourself reached out and said, I think you're rather brilliant. Let's test her. And I tested at a college level reading. College level. Yeah. No, I tested high on so many levels, but my point is there's so many children that just need what you give them. I mean, they're special. Even if you have mental health disorders, I teach a session about the superpowers that are also aligned with mental health because it has a stigma, such a negative connotation, and it isn't. It just means your brain works differently. The chemicals is an electrochemical process. But I love what you do because you're taking folks like me. That could have stunted everything in my life. And then it helped me excel, and I ended up teaching reading for 8 years, and then they brought me into the school system, and I taught young folks to read because I knew what it felt like. So I just want to give a huge shout out to you. Your work is really important. Also sharing about the bipolar, that just got my heart because we don't talk about it, and we should. It's okay. And then all the things that are tied to that. I mean, you're brilliant. A lot of folks that are neurodivergent, on the spectrum, bipolar, they have really excelled areas. The brain is beautiful. There may be deficits, but the brain creates these beautiful spaces for us to be brilliant. So I just applaud you. And then may I ask, what can we as a community do for you?
I think just, as I was saying, just being curious about your own selves, how you operate, how you learn. If you have little ones at home, if you're a grandmother or grandfather, being honest about your own struggles through school and what was hard for you to make it more normalized for these kids. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations and welcome to the Orange Mug Club, Alena. Thank you. I mean, you heard it over and over today. Just thank you for what you are bringing to the community, your passion for it, your skills and ability. But I just, this work is so important. And I'm curious, is there a way to scale this and build out beyond yourself? How would you envision that?
I think first it comes down to finding the people who want to, work with me, work alongside me in this, and do the type of work that I do on kind of a contracted basis, and then just growing from there. Because once I have some contractors, and there's always those slots during the day, like the late afternoon times when kids are out of school, that fill up really quickly. And so would love to be able to get people to be able to serve those kids initially, and then create that bigger vision with more allied professionals working with me. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I know of at least one pigeon that would love your services as well. Thank you all for putting up with the bird our visitor today. And thank you again for presenting. Fantastic. Big hand for Alena.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
And thank you all so much for being here today, hanging out with us. The questions are, at least half to 2/3 of what is helpful in this space. Awareness is a big piece of this, so we know what each other are working on, and then how we can plug in, how we can help, what resources are needed, what services are needed, and what connective tissue. We're all part of this constellation here that's being built for entrepreneurship and supporting entrepreneurship in our communities. So this work is so vital and so important to create a resilient economic base here. As we see the economics changing, supporting each other, resource sharing, building the connective tissue in order to be successful and create more success is paramount and continues to be more and more important. So thanks for carving out the time. Thanks for sharing. I continue to see new faces out here, and so just appreciate you being here. We'll be here again when? At what time? Every week. We'll see you next Wednesday. We have Chili Goose coming and presenting next week. So have a great week.